And welcome everybody to this episode of the Drop Zone with your host, Dope Ass Jeff and Big Time Tony. How you doing today, buddy?
Not too bad because I can finally say it. The Steelers clinched a playoff berth, so I'm all smiles today. I don't care if we get knocked out first round. We clinch a playoff spot. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great because we're beating the Eagles and, of course, they're a possible playoff spot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not a spot, but a higher seating.
Mm-hmm.
But it also going to suck because we are going to hand over the division title to the Cowgirls.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Ann. Yeah, that's the bad part about it.
Mm-hmm. you gotta take it the good with the bad.
Yeah. So you ready to get this night started?
Yep.
All right, our first topic. He's back in the news again, folks. Draymond Green gets reinstated after 12-game suspension.
I'm a bit shocked it's this quick because I thought Seahawks. Well, they're down by 7 with 5:21, and it's Cardinals ball right now, so they have a chance of winning, and it's 13-20. So we'll see if the Seahawks win. But back to Draymond. I'm shocked that he made as much progress as he did. It does show that he does actually care about the game still, and he wants to go out and help his team. Saw there was excellent improvements. Both sides think that he made enough improvements and he's progressing well. And just another week until he can ramp up back fully for a game. So he should be back sometime next week, actually, in his first game. I guess we'll see. We'll see if it's true that he's changed. If we're back in 2 weeks talking about him doing some stupid shit on the court, then I guess we'll find out when we get our answer.
I would agree with pretty much everything you said. I just don't see him being good the entire season. I just don't see it because somebody's going to get under his skin and he's going to snap. And he's either going to elbow somebody, backhand him, try to put him to sleep. So, yeah, I mean, if he does stay calm the rest of the season and stay out of trouble, great. It'll help his team out perfectly. But, yeah, I just don't see him being good for the rest of the season. For most of the season. He's good. Somebody's going to set him off.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt sometimes because, he does go for almost every block that he possibly can. If he accidentally hits someone in the head, I'm not going to go crazy. And I hope that the league doesn't go crazy. It's a flagrant foul, 1 or 2. I don't think he should get in trouble for it. If it's accidental and you could tell that it's accidental, then fine. But if you could tell that he does it on purpose, then yeah. Repercussions.
I agree. Anything else on that one?
Yeah. No.
So our next topic is the XFL and USFL. That's a tongue twister. Merger to become the UFL.
There you go. You got it out.
That was a tongue twister for a bit. So, for those who don't know, the XFL, which is owned by The Rock and his business partner, have merged with the USFL to become, like I said, the UFL. Right now, they have, I believe, 8 teams, as they just they announced it, I believe last week after the merger. They said there was gonna be 8 teams, and they're starting in March. So just a couple of months. Um, their plan is to use this as like a springboard for players who don't get drafted to the NFL and like that to showcase their talent. That way, in the following upcoming seasons, they could pull players from the UFL. I gotta get used to saying that. But yeah, that's their whole plan, and I was actually shocked by the merger. I didn't even know there was a negotiation going on about a merger between those two. You got anything on it, Jeff?
Yeah, it was very quiet. As you said, no one had any idea. They kept it very private until the deal was done. I didn't know about them wanting to have that plan of the players that don't get drafted to have a chance to show off their skill set, and then teams could see it, because some college kids are one and done, or they're all 4 years, or they're 2 years if they think that they've had 2 good years, and some NFL teams don't think so, and they don't get drafted, or they have a bad pro day. So all of the stuff that they do on the pro day doesn't look too good. So I think it's a great opportunity for everyone, the UFL to get some viewership, just to see what it's about. Because I'll be honest, I never watched the XFL or the USFL when they were two separate things. So I'll definitely be tuning in March to see this UFL unfold. Because hey, more football is fine with me. So I'm intrigued. I'm excited, and just. I do like the opportunity that it gives the undrafted players. It's almost like the G League that the NBA has. If I have to, we have to kind of give it something. It's just the NFL.
Yeah, I agree with that. I have watched a few of the USFL games, because it was always aired on USA. So I've seen a couple of those. Some of those games were pretty good, and then some of them you could tell that they were just not good players. You could tell they were basically the bench players that just was putting in garbage time to get some playing time, and that's what some of those teams looks like. But I'm with you. I'm waiting to see this in March to see how it's going to turn out. Hopefully, with the merger, we'll get some really good teams put together and see some really great talent that didn't make it to the NFL. And I'm like you, more football. Hey, I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have enough football.
Absolutely not.
So, but yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. Probably next week I'll get the list of the teams that they're putting together. Because if I'm not mistaken, the XFL I believe had 10 teams as it was, and I believe the USFL had 12 or 14 teams. I think it would have been better just to put them all together and cut the teams. But I think some of them would have been duplicate teams for the same city or state.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why they're starting with 8, just to see how it goes. And probably, I think maybe next year they might expand a few more teams. But yeah, I can't wait to see how this is going to play out and come March. I think March 2nd is the launch date.
Yeah, this is just an opening season. See how it runs. See how everyone responds to it. I think that's what they're doing. 8 teams, fine, and just see how it goes, and then they'll expand more and more every single season.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, I have the teams right here if you want me to name them.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right. The USFL Conference will feature the Birmingham Stallions, Houston Roughnecks, Memphis Showboats, and Michigan Panthers. The XFL Conference will consist of the Arlington Renegades, DC Defenders, San Antonio Brahmas, and St. Louis Battlehawks.
Okay, so they're keeping their original league names and using them as the conference names, as the conferences, and then they just have everything merged as the you. That's actually I kind of like that.
And it's smart and it's easy. Just all right. USFL teams there, XFL teams there, because they obviously have to ask that the managers of those teams if they want to be in the merger, and if they don't, then they don't. The Birmingham, the St. Louis Battlehawks survived both mergers that have happened with the XFL now, so they accepted it and they're in. So that's the 8 teams, and I'm excited, and I'm sure after season 1 of this, we will get more and more teams joining.
I'm just hoping for some good competitive games.
Yeah, not like 102-7.
Yeah. I don't want to see any blowouts where it's like ridiculous scores, and I just want to see competitive games where players who didn't make the NFL could show what they can do.
Because there's definitely a lot of talent out there that just didn't get drafted, unfortunately.
Yeah, there is. All right, moving on. Our next topic is your favorite topic: the NFL news and injuries.
The shortest list all year. 6 injuries. That's it. I'm sure there were some throughout the games. Sam Laporte is one of them. The tight end for the Detroit Lions.
What happened with him?
For him. They don't know the injury of it yet. They won't know until the MRI. It is better than expected. He was carved off the field. It's better than expected, but still he will miss time. So then in the playoffs, he will not be around for them in the playoffs. Sam Laporte.
And that could be huge for Detroit to lose that player.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's basically Jared Goff.
Number 2.
Because Lamar Brown's his security blanket, and Laporte is his second security blanket.
Yeah, well, Laporte broke so many rookie records as far as tight ends go this year too. That's one main one that happened. And AJ Brown in the game against the Giants went down with a knee injury. Looks pretty serious. Obviously won't know anything until the MRI is done, but the ACL is intact. That is the good thing for him. No torn ACL, but they don't know what the injury is yet. It's definitely a right knee injury for AJ Brown. He's probably out for the remainder of this game against the Giants, and then we'll see for the playoffs. So I'll keep you updated on that.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts got hurt in that game as well.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that TJ Watt got injured.
Yep, that was my first one on the list. Grade 2 MCL sprain. He'll be out multiple weeks.
That's going to hurt your defense.
Oh, yeah. It's a worth one and done, which is fine in the playoffs. We will talk about that later. I'm fine with it. They initially thought it was grade 3, which is longer healing time and obviously more severe.
Yeah.
They initially thought it was completely torn MCL when he initially got hurt. Just by his reaction on the field, It was just a freak accident. His teammate went up for an interception, and TJ Watt was just there, and his teammate landed right into his knee.
Ooh.
And it like hyperextended backwards. So yeah, it's a grade 2 MCL sprain. He'll be out multiple weeks. There's no way he's playing in the playoffs. But yeah, that's a big key injury that the Steelers are dealing with. Philly, I already mentioned them, but they were without running back DeAndre Swift with an illness versus the Giants, and the wide receiver Devontae Smith with an ankle injury. He was out. So now AJ Brown just adds on to that injury list along with Hurt. And AJ Dillon with a neck and thumb injury. He was out versus Chicago. And then Miami's 2 of their 4 big stars on offense. The running back Raheem Mostert with a knee injury. He was out he's going to be out versus Buffalo. And their wide receiver Jalen Waddle with an ankle injury. He'll be out versus Buffalo. That's all I got. I'm going to scroll through Twitter real quick and just see if I missed anything. I don't think I did.
So I do have some bad news for you Seahawks fans. The Seahawks are officially eliminated from the playoffs.
Uh-oh.
And you can thank the Green Bay Packers for that. And the New Orleans Saints have officially been eliminated from playoff contention as well with the Packers loss. With the Packers win. So, and that answers your question. Whether they win or lose, it doesn't matter. They're not making the playoffs this year.
Which, I mean, they looked a lot worse than they did last year. So, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But Geno did not look like the Geno of last year. In the official, your Giants beat the Eagles 10-27. Which we'll talk about.
And the 49ers just lost.
Wow.
21-20.
Oh, Seahawks are winning now. 21-20. Wow. that division is so funny. Those 2 games going on are at the same score. 21-20. That's so funny.
Well, this is going to lead into our next topic, which is Week 18 recap anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to start with your Steelers coming beating the Ravens?
Yeah, I'm not going to get too excited. Nothing. Ravens sat a lot of their players for rest purposes since they already locked down the number 1 seed in the AFC. They didn't have Lamar, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews already still, Odell Beckham. They didn't really have anyone. But we win 17-10. Mason Rudolph. He only had 152 passing yards, but only 2 incompletions all game with a touchdown. But Najee Harris, ever since Mason Rudolph took over, has shown up in a big way. He had 26 carries for 112 yards and a touchdown.
Now, with you being a Steelers fan, I got this question for you.
Okay.
Now, we already know Mitch Trubisky pretty much is out of the question. He's worthless. But, would you rather have Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph?
I have a coworker who's a Steelers fan as well, and we talk about this almost every week. Mason Rudolph is not afraid to throw the ball down the field. Kenny Pickett is terrified to throw the ball more than 15 yards down that field. and I don't know what it is. He's just not letting it loose. And I just want to get your opinion on this. Me and my coworker have been talking about a potential, since everything going on with Russell Wilson in Denver, could we possibly get Russell Wilson? I'd say that we might, maybe should go for it, because it's definitely better than Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett. So I wouldn't mind having him there, and just see what Tomlin can do with Russell Wilson. I think that would be a cool pairing to have.
Okay, now my question is, what if you're not getting a good Russell Wilson? You're getting a Russell Wilson that we've been seeing for the last basically 2 years.
And it'd be a worthless signing, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to try, but like, again, if I have to pick either Mason Rudolph or Kenny Pickett, only those two, I would obviously pick Mason Rudolph. Just with how he's playing, and again, Kenny Pickett looks scared to throw the ball more than 15 yards down that field, whereas Mason Rudolph just lets it loose.
Now, here's another question for you. Do you think that was because of Matt Canada's play calling, where he didn't allow him to pretty much throw it down the field, or because, I mean, once they got rid of him, he seemed like he was, a little bit more comfortable with the offense that they was running, and he was pushing. I mean, not as much as Mason Rudolph was, but he was pushing the ball down the field a little bit more than what he was under Canada.
Obviously, it was Matt Canada restraining him and not letting him be the quarterback that he wanted and needed to be. And yeah, when Canada got fired, he did look a lot better, and he looked like he was more free and open to do what he wanted. And the injury's unfortunate because, our line can't block for shit. But Mason Rudolph came in and he proved himself. So I'm glad that we didn't switch it back to Kenny Pickett, because, I wouldn't want that done to Pickett, say if you had to take him in for Rudolph. I think you just ride the hot hand. You don't take out the person who's getting you wins. But Pickett, yes, he did look a lot better as soon as Canada left. Again, it was just an unfortunate injury, and I am glad that we just left Mason Rudolph in to get us these wins, because I honestly don't know if we get these wins without or with Kenny Pickett in lineup. That's how I truly feel right now.
Which is understandable, because right now Mason Rudolph has shown that he does have a better grasp of the offense. But yeah, I just wanted to know how you was feeling about that and stuff like that. So,
which is fine, as me being a Steelers fan, that I ask you about Giant stuff all of the time. So I'm open to questions about my Steelers and what we're going to do next.
All right, what's the next game?
On the Ravens side, Tyler Huntley, who was playing for Lamar, I don't know what more we really expect from him. He had 146 passing yards and a touchdown. That was pretty much for the Ravens. Our defense really held him in check.
Which was another thing that surprised me, especially after TJ Watt got hurt. That the Steelers still held everything together and held on to the 7-point victory. Which, is huge, because, if they would have lost, it would have been a hard time for you guys to get into the playoffs. So with them holding on and getting a win, and now with which we'll discuss later, Jacksonville losing, yeah, you guys have your playoff spot.
And the players knew the significance of that game, and they couldn't just use the excuse that TJ Watt got injured as the reason why we didn't concede that game. They just couldn't. So, yeah. They held tight. On defense was good. I saw that Sutter going at 10 carries for 48 rushing yards. So, all in all, it was a good game. 17-10. Now, this next game, more intense, more on the line, like the division title. The Texans versus the Colts. Texans beat the Colts 23-19 to win the division. Again, with Jacksonville's loss today. And they clinched the playoff. And you're smiling. I know why you're smiling. But I don't know when we're going to do our season standings review. But I was dead wrong with the Texans. But you didn't even think they'd be this good. I didn't think they would. 10-7 and making it into the playoff.
No, because I think I had them I had them under 500, but I had them,
like a 8-9.
Yeah, something like that.
7,
It's like 7-10. I think I had them.
But 10-7, winning
with a rookie quarterback, basically a rookie head coach, a young squad.
That is so impressive. Just any coach to do that is impressive. Rookie QB, rookie. I think he had 2 rookie wide receivers, Tank Dell and Nico Collins.
Yes.
Dalton Schultz got there in the offseason.
I think they had a rookie running back as well.
Damian Pierce is his second year, I think, but still, almost a rookie. Like, he's new in the league. Like, they had new head coach, new this, new that, and they still 10-7, winning the division, making the playoffs. I didn't see this coming at all. Again, you had them.
I'm not gonna lie. As much as I was, at the beginning of the season saying that just watch out for them, I didn't expect to see not even a playoff berth in the first year.
Mm-hmm.
I was basically giving them maybe 3 years. They'll be in the playoffs. They did it in the first year.
So this is scary. Like, they're scary now, and
yes,
what they can do in the future, as long as everyone stays healthy, But wow, CJ Stroud needed to have a good game, and he had a great game. 20 for 26, 26 for yards, 2 touchdowns. That's the kind of game that they needed to clinch the playoff spot, and he did it. And he didn't turn the ball over, which we'll talk about later. Again, we're going through our awards for this upcoming year and what our predictions for the awards are. Devin Singletary, 24 carries for 60 yards and touchdown. Nico Collins, I mentioned that he was a rookie. He didn't play like one this year. I'll tell you that. He did not play like one this year.
Neither did Tank Bell.
Yeah. He had 9 receptions for 195 yards and touchdown.
Yeah, that team played like it was a veteran team that was put together for years. Like, they've been together for years. That's how that team was playing.
Mm-hmm.
And we keep forgetting that they're very young.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe they're the youngest team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that team is. If they could keep that team together, that team's gonna be scary. Barring injuries.
Yeah, injuries and salary cap. I don't know what the cap is in the NFL. But again, if CJ Stroud keeps playing the way that he's playing, he's going to be up for a massive deal. Nico Collins is going to be up for a massive deal. Tank Dell, if he keeps getting even better, he's going to be up for a massive deal. Dalton Schultz, whatever his deal is now, if he keeps doing well in Houston, he's going to be up for another deal. Devin Singletary, he's going to be up for another deal because he had a great year this year too. Like,
Well, I know with Collins, Dell, and Stroud, they got basically 4 years left on their contract, their rookie contract.
mm,
So they're gonna be together for 4 years, 4 more years, and they only could get better.
which is terrifying. Which is so
Yes.
scary. Like you can't just look at the Texans now and go, "Oh, that's a win." You have to go, "Oh,
Yeah,
shit."
you can't look at them and like, oh yeah, we can just play our backups and we'll still win. No,
Mhm.
you're gonna have to bring your A game.
The only notable player from the Colts, Jonathan Taylor, 30 carries for 188 yards and touchdown. Now, unfortunately, this game ended. It was 4th-and-1. This poor backup running back was in the game. And he dropped the pass. He was wide open. And he got into the first down. And he dropped it. So that's how that Colts season ended. It was a drop, 4th-and-1. But even for the Colts, I just want to talk about the Colts real quick. 9-8. They had Anthony Richardson, the MVP of my fucking injury report, going in and out and out and out. He was better than expected. I'll say that. He was a lot better when he wasn't injured.
Yeah.
And Minshew did come in, and he won them games, kept them in it. Like they were still in the playoff race up until this game. Like Minshew did what he needed to do. Jonathan Taylor, I'm sure they're very happy that they got that deal done with him in the offseason. Because he showed up. Zach Moss did his thing for the Colts too. But they, I would say, had a very successful season. 9-8, just missed the playoffs, just missed winning the division by one game. If you're the Colts, you had a great season, and Anthony Richardson is just going to keep improving. I mean, as long as he can stay healthy, and Taylor just stays happy in that organization, then I think that they can actually, like, this division now is going to be very interesting with the Texans, Colts, and Jags, and then Titans if they ever feel like playing some football for 18 games.
Yeah, so that Colts team is going to be another team that's fairly young as well. They're not as young as the Texans, but they was in a lot of games. I mean, I don't even think there was any game where they got blown out of.
No, because that defense is good. That defense is real good.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of the games came down to like a turnover and stuff like that. So if they can minimize those turnovers and continue making key plays, they're going to. I mean, that's another team. If they can stay together, will be together for a while, and that could be a 3-team race every year.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Brian.
Like week 1, they lost by 10, then they won by 11. Beat the Ravens week 3 by 3, lost by 6, won by 7, lost by 17. So up and down, they got blown out by the Falcons by 19 points. But I mean, obviously, up as a bad week, and the Falcons played the game of the year that they had. But yeah, like that defense, I want to highlight that defense. That defense is really good.
Yeah.
More the cornerback. Man, is he good? He was the number 1 cornerback in the NFL this year. I mean, as far as fantasy goes, he was the number 1. So, yes, this division's going to be fun to watch in the upcoming years.
Yeah, that division is going to be fun to watch, like you said. if the Titans could get themselves together, I could see that division and the North Division as the two best divisions in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what they do, what Cleveland does with Deshaun Watson. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see for the next couple of years what both of those divisions are going to look like because, yeah, like I said, with as young as the Texans are, yeah, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Mm-hmm. And the Jags are young too. The Jags are very young too.
They just have a very inconsistent quarterback.
Mm-hmm. And when that happens, you're going to have an inconsistent team all around.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah, that was hilarious.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll stick with this division. Jaguars, as we said multiple times already, lose 20-28 against the Tennessee Titans. Thank you, Titans. I was a Titans fan for one day today. And that's it.
I think we both were Titans fans for one day.
Yeah, Jags, surprisingly, on the road, they lose. You know, in the biggest game of their year, they lost on the road. Trevor Lawrence, as we said, inconsistent, 29 for 43, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Like, that's not good. I mean, they're lucky to have only lost by 8 within put up those numbers.
Well, Tannehill wasn't much better. He was 17 for 20. I don't even know why they put him. They should have left. What's his name in?
Will Levis, he got injured. I think he was out.
Because there's no stats for Will Levis at all.
Yeah, he was out. I believe he was out, or they just sat him.
So, but yeah, thank you, Tennessee. Also, this possibly was Derrick Henry's last game as a Tennessee Titan. That's going to be interesting. Now, if it is, whoever picks him up, yikes.
You better know how to use them and learn it quick, too.
Can you just imagine he's staying in the division and go to, like, Houston?
God, of like Houston at like 14-3 next year, like 15-2. That'll be the biggest turnaround I've ever made in the standings list I've ever made. God, if he goes to Houston, oh my goodness.
Because then you give CJ Stroud a bona fide running back that if you got the lead, he could just really just shut the game down.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, that would be scary. Yep, we already were celebrating the Steelers in the playoffs.
I don't gotta worry about nothing. I can breathe happy now. You know, like I can go to work tonight and not be stressing out the entire time. Don't want to beat the Bills. But in Derrick Henry's possible last game with the Titans, 19 carries for 152 yards and a touchdown. I'd say that's a pretty good last game if this is his last game in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And Tajay Spears is back up. Got 2 total touchdowns. So that's it. Titans, disappointing year. Injuries hurt them. Not remembering how to use Derrick Henry some games. I don't understand. You know what? He only had like 10 carries that one game that we went over. Like that.
Yeah,
it's feasible to only use him 10 times in the running game. I don't care what that score is. 10 times, that's it.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. And a lot of times they didn't know how to use DeAndre Hopkins either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, They finished 6-11, and Jacksonville missing the playoffs. A decent year again. Trevor Lawrence very inconsistent. If he can fix his inconsistency, then I think they can be a lot better. Year one with Calvin Ridley, I think, was pretty good. I think that they had some good chemistry there. Ridley put up very good numbers for them coming off his suspension. And then ETN also had a good year for them. So
Yeah, they have weapons on offense.
Mhm.
You just got to get Trevor Lawrence to be more efficient.
Yeah, if they can get that, then they'll be in the playoffs every year because they have, like you just said, the weapons on offense, and their defense is not that bad either. So
No, their defense is pretty decent.
So, yeah, again, I think if Trevor Lawrence was more consistent, I think this Jags team would have been like 12-4 or like 12-5.
Yeah, there was a few games that they should have won that they just lost.
And I don't mean to put on one person, but it's normally put on the quarterback. And yeah, again, if he was more consistent, I think they have more of a successful season this year. All right. Next game, the Vikings lose to the Lions 20-30. Vikings. What a crazy year for the Vikings. Nick Mullins.
They're too bad.
No, he had almost 400 passing yards. You want to read off the stats, Tony?
Sure. He was 30 for 44, 396 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. The 2 interceptions is pretty much what killed him. They pretty much shut Chandler down. 12 rushes for 69 yards. Madison was kept quiet. He only had 7 rushes for 24 yards. But there was a Justin Jefferson sighting.
Yeah, when he's healthy.
He had 12 receptions for 192 yards and a touchdown. Addison had 4 catches for 57 yards and a touchdown. So yeah, I don't know if they're going to keep Mullen as a quarterback or even if they're going to bring back Kirk Cousins. Nobody knows what's going on with their quarterback situation. But if they could get a quarterback with those weapons, and they're going to have to do something about their defense. That defense is getting old. For Detroit, Goff went 23 for 32 for 320 yards and 2 touchdowns. Montgomery and Gibbs both found an end zone. They both combined for 70 yards rushing with 23 carries. Amon St. Brown is possibly a top 5 wide receiver in the league.
I'd say yeah.
He had 7 catches for 144 yards and a touchdown. Laporta found the end zone as well before he got injured. He had 5 receptions for 29 yards, and like I said, he also found the end zone. Yeah, that offense is, it's up and down offense. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. Like we seen when they played the Bears, that offense looked horrible. But at the same time, if they're all on the same page, that offense is stat wise, it's a top 5 offense. They're top 5 in rushing and top 5 in passing, which is the first time has happened to Detroit since I believe it was 1953, before the Super Bowl era.
Holy.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So yeah, that's going to be an interesting offense to watch in the playoffs. And I'm hoping somehow them and Dallas can meet up again, because I got a feeling that's not going to be a pretty game.
No. Every game that they played at the refs, again, they should be 14-4, honestly, because the refs wanted to just go into the Cowboys, which we talked about last week. Horrible call there in that game, but we'll move on to this week. This offense is scary. This offense is really scary, and their defense. Again, I want to keep just noting these teams' defense. Their defense is really good. Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan, he's just improving more and more in his second season, and their secondary is really, really good too. So,
well, here's another thing about with their defense as well. Remember at the beginning of the season, they lost a lot of key players on defense.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of young players stepped in. And I was like, whew, it's going to be rough, because now you got young players stepping in where key players that have went out for injuries. I'm thinking, okay, your offense is going to keep you in the game, but are you going to be able to stop anybody when it comes down to it? They pretty much stepped up to it, and that defense became I won't say a great defense, but it came in above average defense.
They did their job
last year. Yeah,
they did what they need to do to stop teams from scoring when it mattered most.
And you can tell Dan Campbell has his imprint on that team.
Mm-hmm. Candidate for Coach of the Year. We will talk about that later. Howard picked for that. But they have a good thing going in Detroit finally, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for that organization and that team.
So am I.
All right. I'll stick with the division, because it was all division games this week. The Packers beat the Bears 9-17. I'm not even going to mention any of the Bears players, because this season for them was not great. I mean, surprisingly finished 7-10. Justin Fields missed a few games. Don't know what they're going to do with him, honestly. Their head coach probably needs to be gone. I
heard this. I heard on NFL Fox this morning, at noon, because they went over the list of coaches who possibly could be fired. And from what Jay Glazer said, the Bears are not getting rid of their head coach. They're giving him one more year. Yes, that was my reaction as well. So now it comes down to are you going to keep Justin Fields with a coach that doesn't know what to do with him? Or are you going to trade Justin Fields for a rookie quarterback you're going to draft one, and you're going to probably go through the same thing with this head coach? He's not going to know what to do with him. It is virtually. I understand. I understand part of their thinking. There was a stretch where the Bears actually looked like they got it together, but you just can't keep that head coach. I'm sorry, you just can't. Because now you're going to be on like the 6th year where you're swapping out quarterbacks again.
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, they can't win. They're not. The head coach needs to go. I think Brad Smith is his name is, or whatever the fuck it is.
But so what? So then 6 games into next year, when they're like 1-5, they'll then fire him, and then have an interim head coach. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, the only word I can say is that's the Bears organization. Oh, we failed again? All right, let's get another chance.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whereas the Packers, on the other hand, Jordan Love looked better than I expected him to this year.
Yes. I will agree with that. I mean, there's been games where in some passes he looked like, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers on passes that they could only make. Like, he has that little hop pass throw that Brett Favre does, and he's accurate with it. I don't understand how, but I mean, yeah, he might be the quarterback of the future for the Packers.
I don't know who's behind him, and it can't be nearly as good as what he did. But he did have throws that showed that he was a young QB. He definitely had throws that he shouldn't have made. A lot of turnovers this year, but that's what you're going to have to give and take with these young quarterbacks. They will make mistakes, but as long as they learn from them, that's what matters. And I think he did over these last few weeks. I did see him cut down the turnovers a lot.
I mean, he did do something Aaron Rodgers couldn't do last year, get him in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, old man Aaron Rodgers.
And the thing is, that's the same exact team.
It is. Jordan Love went 27 for 32, 316 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's a really good game when they needed to win. And, again, I don't believe he had any turnovers. He didn't have any interceptions. So, yeah, keeping hold of the ball is important for Jordan Love in the future. Because, again, I do know he had a decent amount of turnovers this year. Because ball security is his most important thing.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones, finally healthy. 22 carries for 111 yards. When Aaron Jones is healthy, he's a top 10 running back in the league. The issue is of when he's healthy. He battled most of the injuries this year. Hamstring, calf, ankle, many injuries that running backs deal with. But, he needs to stay healthy for them to be successful. I mean, A.J. Dillon, he's a good backup, but, there's almost no replacing Aaron Jones.
Yeah. And another note, just a reminder, they're doing this without Christian Watson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he didn't play for about half the year.
Yeah, he's been in and out of the lineup.
Yeah, he was out for the first 3 games, came back, went back out, came back, and then he's been out.
He's been out since.
Mm-hmm.
So just imagine when they get Watson back.
Yeah, they were doing this with a bunch of wide receivers that are in their first or second year. I don't think there was a wide receiver that was in his more than third year on the team. I think everyone was second year or lower, or in the rookie year.
Yeah, I think they're the second youngest team behind the Texans.
Jaden Reed had a great year. Dontavian Wicks, Luke Musgrave, their rookie tight end, Romeo Dobbs, or Dukes. He didn't do anything this game, but he's had a great season for them. And again, they're doing this without Christian Watson. So
yeah,
imagine when he does come back and finally healthy, and their defense has a bunch of great talent on it. Quay Walker, Devondre Campbell, Darnell Savage, Keyshawn Nixon, Jair Alexander, who did play today, Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary. They have some good players on defense as well. So, a lot better of a season than I expected from the Packers this year, and that's for sure. Especially with Jordan Love, I didn't know what to think of him either. 9-8, I think, is a pretty good year.
Yeah, because I don't even think I had him with a 500 record, just because I wasn't sure of Jordan Love.
I might have. I think I don't know. We'll see when we do it. This next game, the Falcons lose to the Saints by a big margin, 17-48. This game I'm going to just breeze through. Falcons, disappointing season, with everything that they had going into it. Desmond Ridder wasn't the quarterback that they needed. Arthur Smith, we've talked about many times on this podcast. He needs to go. He's the only one that needs to go. He doesn't know what he's doing.
No, he has no clue.
Bijan Robinson. Yeah.
Did you hear that he got into a yelling match with Dennis Allen because the Saints put up 48 points?
Really?
Yeah. He basically was accusing him of running up the score.
Yeah, run up the score. So what?
Like, this is not college football.
It's not high school. It's not college. This is the NFL. If
you stop them from scoring, they won't run up the score. Plain and simple.
If you don't want to get your ass whooped, get your team prepared to not get their ass whooped. I just don't think he has any control of the locker room whatsoever.
I don't think he has either. None.
Like, if he's somehow still a coach by the start of next season,
I'll be shocked.
I don't know what the Falcons are doing. Bijan Robinson had 7 receptions for 103 yards and touchdown. Derek Carr had 4 passing touchdowns today. And Rashid had a receiving touchdown. Kendra Miller had 1 rushing touchdown. New Orleans 9-8. I think not a bad season, especially with Kamara, being suspended the first 2 or 3 games. So I think they did well to hold their head up.
Carr being in and out at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, because he was getting the shit rocked because his line could block for him. But yeah, I think 9-8 is successful in Atlanta. To finish 7-10 is very underwhelming for how young talent that they have on the team. And I just put also
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
If the defense can't stop you, it's not Allen's fault that their defense couldn't stop them from scoring. Mm-hmm. What do you want them to do? Take a knee every single play?
Wait,
something with the water boy.
Mm-hmm. But I put most of them on Arthur Smith. I just don't think he has any control of that locker room. Any of the coaches are on his side. It just looks like a team and everyone's doing their own thing and what they want. There's no anointedness. It's all just separating. Sticking in that division, quick game here. Bucks beat the Panthers 9-0. Kind of a revenge game, laughing game for Baker Mayfield. The Panthers released him in the offseason. Then he signed with the Bucks. And to clinch a playoff spot, he beats the Panthers in Week 18.
And he did something he's never done before, win a division title.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, you have to think of the division he was in. That's a tough division to try and win the
Well,
division.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that, but still, I mean, he could still say, "Hey, I won a division title."
Mm. Baker Mayfield, candidate for comeback player of the year. There was no touchdown scored in this game. He went 20 for 32, 237 yards. Not going to talk about this game too much. There wasn't a lot of offense. It was a very bad game. It looked like Bryce Young only went 11 for 18, 94 yards passing. That's it. He had 94 yards more passing than me and you, Tony, and we sat home.
Yeah.
Again, this is an organization that needs serious fixing, serious help. Don't know what direction they're going to go in. It needs a lot of fixing right now.
I agree. That division is that organization itself has just completely gone backwards. I mean, they went from a Super Bowl contender to the league punching bag.
Mm. And I mean, honestly, the two teams that they beat, the Texans, which the Texans should not have lost to the Panthers, and they beat the Falcons. So they realistically could be 0-17. Because to me, exactly, Baker's always been that tough guy, and he'll always come back. Unless his arm is hanging off his body, he's come back. But
yeah,
but Bryce Young, I can't even put on him because I mean it's probably tough to get ready for a game when the organization is falling apart. So I mean I don't want to talk too much about the Panthers and shit on them more than what they've already been shit on. Could have been 2-15. Again, they could have been 0-17. Easily 0-17 this year. That's how bad they were. And possibly the final game of Bill Belichick's coaching career in New England. He loses 17-3 against the New York Jets. You want to read off the stats? I will have my
right. So, Trevor Siemian was 8 for 20 for 70 yards. The only player that showed up was Hall. 37 for 178 yards and a touchdown. Nobody showed up on the New England side. I mean, Zappy was a little bit better than Simeon. He was 12 for 30 for 88 yards, but he threw 2 interceptions. Nobody on New England had only one player had over 50 yards.
That was Zeke.
Yep, 54 yards on 13 carries.
I don't know what that comment is. I'm going to ignore it for...
Yeah, I have no idea what that comment either.
Here's like the steal. Yep, move on.
So, yeah, there wasn't much to talk about that game. Like you said, it's probably going to be Bill Belichick's final game as the head coach of the Patriots.
It should be.
But, yeah, that was... I mean, I've seen high school games that had more yardage than that.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah, Patriots, very bad season, but the Jets, I'll give them credit. They finished 7-10 after losing Aaron Rodgers to a torn Achilles on the third play of the season. So 7-10 is impressive. I do like Robert Saleh. I think he does know what he's doing. He has the locker room, unlike Arthur Smith. So I think if Aaron Rodgers comes back and is at least halfway decent, it'll be a lot better than what they had to deal with this year with Zach Wilson and Trevor Siemian and whoever else they had at quarterback.
Now, question for you: if you was the GM of the Jets, will you keep Robert Saleh for another year to see what happens when Aaron Rodgers come back, or will you get rid of him?
Yeah, I'm keeping him because he can't control Aaron Rodgers getting injured. And that's what they invested pretty much the entire season into Aaron Rodgers. And he gets injured on the third play of the season. And then Zach Wilson being the inexperienced young kid. And you could tell he wasn't ready for it. He even said that he wasn't expecting to play at all this season. Not something that you say. I've said many times.
Not.
But again, I think they did the best that they could in the circumstances and the situation that they had available to them, with the QBs that they had on that roster. That defense carried them. That's for sure. That is for damn sure. That defense carried them, not that offense. But yeah, I would keep Robert Saleh, see how he does with Aaron Rodgers. If they can get a winning season and a playoff berth, then I think he stays in New York with Aaron Rodgers for a bit.
I agree.
All right, Browns lose to the Bengals 14-31, but the Browns were sitting a lot of their starters, so I'm not going to think too much.
Yeah, because even Flacco wasn't even playing.
Yeah, so Flacco wasn't playing. Mike wasn't playing. I don't think Njoku played. They were just sitting a lot of the players, which is smart.
Yeah, not one normal starter was actually in the game. From what I can see from the stats.
All right, you can read them off if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game's quick. No one really of interest to talk about. I mean, there was a Joe Mixon sighting today. Tony, how about that? We had 14 carries for 111 yards and a touchdown.
But again, Cleveland probably didn't have much of their starting defense playing either.
No. But hey, there was a sighting.
I mean, yeah.
Cincinnati, I won't talk about them real quick. For them to lose Joe Burrow to injury and for them to still finish 9-8, especially with their start of this year, they started 0-4 or 0-5. Like they were in a slump.
Yes, they were.
And for them to finish 9-8 without Joe Burrow, very impressive. It shows. I can't even think of who their head coach is. I want to say Zach Taylor, but I don't think that's right. I think it's a different head coach. Who's the Bengals head coach? Like, I know his name. I'm just not thinking of it. I think it might be Zach Taylor. But for them to finish 9-8, a winning record, it was Zach Taylor. There we go. Whatever. I'm knowledgeable.
The Dolphins great Zach Taylor?
What?
Dolphins great Zach Taylor?
No, the Bengals head coach is Zach Taylor. You're muted, Tony. Still can't hear you, Tony. Sorry about that, everyone. We have some technical difficulties.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you, Tony. There we go.
Yeah, apparently the mic died.
Nope.
So
That's
I was wondering if it's the Zach Taylor that used to play for the Miami Dolphins. That's the head
maybe.
coach.
I don't know, but it is Zach Taylor, the head coach for the Bengals. It just shows that he has a control of the locker room. I'm just going to keep saying it. It's very important that these head coaches have control of the locker room and the team morale. With Joe Burrow going down with an injury, Jake Browning stepped up in a big way and led them to some big wins to finish with a winning record. This division might be the only division in the NFL that had every team finish with a winning record.
Yeah.
So for them to finish 9-8, very impressive. A successful season, and the Browns were, their success, 11-6. No one expected 11-6 out of this team. Joe Flacco came in and really stepped up in a big way and led them to some big victories. So successful seasons for both. I mean, I know that the Bengals expect a lot more this season, but with how they started, I think Bengals fans will be happy with a 9-8 finish.
I think they will be too. Especially considering how they started off.
Yeah, starting off and, Joe Burrow getting injured. All right, this game, I'm not even going to talk about it. Cowboys beat the Commanders 38-10. I'm literally just going to move on to your Giants beat the Eagles 10-27. Would you like to read off the stats for this game?
So, of course, Jalen Hurts started the game, but he got hurt during the game. He was 7 for 16 for 55 yards, and he threw an interception. And then Marcus Mariota came in. He went 13 for 20, which wasn't too bad, for 148 yards for a touchdown. But he also threw an interception. AJ.
All right, Tony froze, so I will.
I'm back.
All right, there you are.
Yeah, there was a Quez Watkins sighting. 8 catches for 93 yards and a touchdown.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm looking at stats too. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the Giants defense showed up today. For the Giants,
the offense. I'm looking at the offense.
Tyrod Taylor was 23 for 32, 297 yards, a touchdown and an interception. He got banged up a little bit. Then Tommy DeVito came in, went 2 for 2 for 14 yards. Yeah, there really wasn't much of a running game. Barkley had 18 carries for 46 yards, but he did find the end zone twice. Wandale Robinson had 5 catches for 85 yards. Darius Slayton decided to make a showing again. 5 catches for 62 yards and a touchdown. Darren Waller even decided to, chip in a little bit. 5 catches for 45 yards. And then Barker also had 2 catches for 51 yards. So, yeah, I mean, they were spreading the ball around pretty good, but, yeah.
Okay, so you've been asking questions about my Steelers. I now get to ask you a question about your Giants. I just want an overall summary or your thoughts about this season as it is now over.
The overall summary of the season was a horrible season. I mean, they started out, they got killed by Dallas in the season opener. I mean, honestly, the best thing that actually happened to the Giants was Daniel Jones getting hurt. I mean, I know it's not a popular thing to say and I know some Giant fans are probably going to kill me for saying it, but facts are facts. The offense looks a lot better without Daniel Jones. I mean, you had literally 3 receivers. I'm sorry, 3 receivers with both that all had 5 catches. That would have never happened with Daniel Jones. So, I mean, the ball's being spread around. The offensive line needs to improve because it's still a sore spot for the Giants. The defense finally, has come around. The defense has always been good. They just got off to a slow start. As far as what the Giants, I mean, they've already said that Daniel Jones is the starter for next year. They need to find someone to trade him to get rid of him. Trade him for I don't care who. I'm sorry, he is not the answer. Him coming back is going to basically just put this team back to how it was at the beginning of the season where they struggled to move the ball, they struggled to score points, and everything's going to be put on. It's going to make the defense get worn down. I mean, whoever thought the Giants' defense would be able to hold the Eagles' high-powered offense to 10 points? Now, granted, it's not the same offense as it was last year for the Eagles because their core offensive coordinator is gone, but still, I mean, this is the same Eagles team that started the season out 10-1?
Mm-hmm.
And so they finished the season 1-8. Well, yeah, what they finished 11-6.
Yeah, 11-6. So in their last 6, they went 1-5.
So, I mean, we did cost them the division title, and unfortunately, we handed it over to the Dallas Cowgirls. I'm not happy about that, but I mean, you got to take the good with the bad. We ended the season with a win. The defense, once again showed up.
Isaiah Simmons.
What was that?
Isaiah Simmons, who you guys traded for in the offseason, finally started doing something because in the first few games he wasn't really there. And now he's finally.
Not because I think Wink Martindale was trying to figure out how to use Simmons.
Because he's very versatile. Like he can do a lot out there.
Because he's one of those players that doesn't really have a position. He could play linebacker, he could play cornerback, he could play safety. So he was trying to figure out how to use him. Once he finally figured out how to use him, he's started making plays for the Giants and helping that defense just look more efficient defensively than anything. I mean, than when they want to start the season. But yeah, Daniel Jones is, like I said, is not the answer. They need to either trade him during a draft to get another quarterback, or trade him to somebody. I don't know. He just needs to go.
Yeah, because you guys have thought that he's the answer for how many years now, and he's just clearly not.
I never thought he was the answer.
Like, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying that the Giants organization has thought that he's the answer. He's the one. He will get us to the promised land.
Yeah, because because they was listening to Eli Manning because he was training with Eli Manning before he even got to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So they're thinking, okay, he's going to be like Eli Manning. No, he's the only difference between him and Manning is he's mobile, Manning's not. They're both were turnover machines. You know, I wasn't an Eli Manning fan. Even after he won us the first Super Bowl, then another one. I still wasn't an Eli Manning fan. Because all he did was turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
So now they know that they need to find an actual real mobile quarterback that can actually throw the ball and spread the ball around.
Yeah, I think Tyrod did a good job of that.
So did Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, I wouldn't have him start. I would have one of those two start this season, next season.
I mean, I would start, like I said, Taylor, or yes, Taylor's up there in age, but have him start the season out, and then if he starts breaking down, put in DeVito. But yeah, Daniel Jones got to go.
Yeah, changes need to happen, and
they need to upshore the offensive line.
Mm-hmm. Those are the two biggest: offensive line and QB.
Yes.
Eagles, we're going to talk about them in the playoff predictions in a bit. I'm not really going to talk about them too much yet. But very disappointing way to end the season. Again, in their last 6, 1-5. Broncos lose to the Raiders 14-27. Raiders turned it around after a very bad start to this year to finish 8-9. The whole Jimmy G thing. Josh Jacobs not playing a lot of these games, and Adams has shown frustration with not getting the ball. Finding their head coach, Antonio Pierce, did a great job as the interim head coach. Again, got that morale up, and to finish 8-9 is very good for them again, given what they had to do throughout this entire season.
And just to note, they won this game without Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, no, he didn't play again.
And I really think they found their quarterback in O'Connell.
He's good. He's a rookie too. Yeah. Aiden O'Connell's a rookie, and he proved himself. Again, with these young quarterbacks, they're going to make mistakes, and that's just part of it. But as long as they learn and improve, which he has, yeah, I think they have the QB of the future in Aiden O'Connell.
Yes, I agree. Pierce should be the head coach for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Even the players are saying that's who they want as their coach. Going forward,
says that.
Because he's literally changed the culture of that franchise.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a Davis running the organization, so you know how those Davises are.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do the popular thing. They always do what's unpopular.
Yeah, the Broncos, we already know their saga this year with Russell Wilson, Sean Payton. They also finished 8-9 as well. I will say he did look a lot better than last year, but towards the end he showed the Russell Wilson of last year. Anything on that game, Tony?
Not really.
And to stay with that division, the Chiefs beat the Chargers 13-12. Chargers, we've talked about them countless times on here. Their story throughout this season. Herbert getting injured, Stick came in, and I mean, he's done well. But Allen injured as well. Mike Williams going down with the injury earlier in the year as well. Injury-filled season for them. And the Chiefs, up and down season, especially with their wide receivers, not wanting to catch the ball. Kadarius Toney, Scantling, U2. Travis Kelce was the only bright spot on that offense, along with Isaiah Pacheco. So also,
none of them played today.
Yeah, I know. They had Blaine Gabbert starting. Wow.
So, yeah, there's really not much to talk about that one.
No, and that's kind of going over their season. Chargers finishing 5-12. Kansas City going to 11-6. I guess we'll see what they do in the playoffs, and I guess we'll see if the wide receivers want to catch the ball. But yeah, very disappointing season for the Chargers. Seahawks Cardinals 21-20. Again, this division finished the same score for both games, 21-20. Seahawks 9-8 to finish off this season. Geno Smith had a good game finally to finish off the season. 16 for 20, 189 yards per touchdown. Not a bad season from them, but Geno Smith looked a lot better last year, and I don't know what happened really, but he did definitely fall off from where it was a year ago.
Yeah.
We're going to swiftly move on to the Cardinals. The best 4-13 team probably in the history of the NFL. Because, they had the legend himself, Josh Dobbs, there for the first few games. Kept them in games. They lost them, but they kept them in games. And they got rid of him, who they had to start after that. But then Kyler Murray came back. He's looked good. He went 22 for 30, 262 yards and a touchdown. And James Conner, he's definitely the running back of the future. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He had 27 carries for 150 yards and a touchdown. He's shown up in these last 2 weeks, or these last few weeks. Definitely a disappointing season for the Cardinals, but again, 4-13, given the circumstances of what they had to deal with this year, I'd say that's a pretty good 4-13, which it could be a lot higher, of like a 7. Seven and 10. Because again, they were in a lot of games that they could have won, like they just did. On these two teams, Tony, about their season now being over.
It's just over.
All right, last game, Rams beat the Niners 21-20. Rams 10-7, Niners 12-5. I'm interested to see what these two teams do in the playoffs. Again, we'll talk about that in a bit. So that's this season, and that's the Week 18 recap.
All right, next up is the playoff picture. So, I have the NFC matchups. Of course, the 49ers, of course, got the bye.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the Cowboys hosting the Packers. Then you got the Lions hosting the Rams, and the Bucks hosting the Eagles.
Unfortunately, Cowboys win. They beat the Packers. Unfortunately, on that one.
That Lions and Rams going to be interesting.
That's going to be a fun game. Laporta being out, it's going to not do well. As much as I want to see the Lions do good, I have a feeling that the Rams are going to just... but I can't. No, wait, so are the Lions at home? Lions are at home?
Yeah. Lions are home.
All right, yeah, Lions win in that environment there in Detroit. Yeah, I think home field helps them out in a big way.
And so then you got the Bucks and hosting the Eagles. I don't know, with the way the Eagles been playing, and with AJ Brown hurt and Jalen Hurts hurt his finger.
I'm going with my guy Baker Mayfield, and this isn't even a joke. This isn't for laughs. This is serious with how the Eagles have played recently in these last 6 games. The injuries that they're dealing with now. I could see the Bucs beating them.
Yeah, I can see that too. Of course, the AFC isn't set yet because we have to wait for the final of the Dolphins-Bills games because we need to know which one of those are going to be the division winner. So the AFC isn't set yet because, like I said, we have to wait for that final game between the Bills and the Dolphins. And the Dolphins started the game off with an interception. So we can see how this is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything else, buddy?
Nope. I'm just excited for the playoffs. See what happens.
All right. So next is end of the season award predictions. We're going to start off with Defensive Player of the Year.
TJ Watt. Come on, I don't think there's a debate from anyone else. Myles Garrett, I looked up all the, predictions or candidates. Myles Garrett had a good season, but not nearly as many tackles and 5 less sacks. TJ Watt had 19 sacks this year.
Well, I think it's going to come down to these 3 players. TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Joey Bosa. No, Nick Bosa, sorry.
Mm.
It's going to come down to those 3 players.
I'm not even saying it because I'm a Steelers guy. To me, it just has to be TJ Watt. The force that he is on that defense, no matter if you double team him, do what you can to him, it doesn't matter. He causes issues every single snap. He had 4 forced fumbles, an interception, and 8 pass defenses. Not unanimously going to TJ Watt, but I think TJ Watt should win it.
I mean, yeah, I agree. It should be Watt. But I'm just saying it's going to come down to one of those 3.
Yeah, I know.
The next category is going to be Offensive Player of the Year. Now, this is going to be interesting.
Do you want to go first or me?
You can go first because I'm interested to see who you're thinking of.
It was tough. It was definitely very tough. It came down to 2 players: Christian McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill. And I took CMC to take the honor of that one.
Those are good choices.
Because, he played more games. The Tyreek Hill injury at the end of this season that kept him out.
Hurt him.
Yeah, it hurt him because he was on his way to a 2,000-yard season.
Yes.
That's how good of a season he was having. But CMC, he played 16 games, 272 carries. That led the NFL by a mile. 272 carries.
That's a lot of carries.
Mm-hmm. For 1,459 yards, 14 touchdowns, and then 67 receptions for 564 yards and 7 touchdowns. So in total, that's 2,023 yards and 21 touchdowns. That's why CMC is my offensive player of the year.
Yeah, I mean, not including quarterbacks, I had it down to either CMC or Tyreek Hill. And like you said, him missing that one game or game and a half did make a difference, and it will cause him to actually win the offensive player of the year, and it will go to McCaffrey. So the next topic is going to be our fun ones. We're going to start with the defensive rookie of the year.
This was interesting. I didn't know really a lot of defensive rookies.
Neither did
I. But I looked up a few. I looked up, the front runners for it, and there was 2 that stood out to me: Jalen Carter for the Eagles, and Will Anderson Jr. for the Texans.
That's who I was thinking of.
And that's what I picked, looking at their stats. They both played 15 games. Carter had 30 tackles, where Will Anderson had 45. Will Anderson had 1 more sack than Carter, with 7. But Carter had 2 forced fumbles. Will Anderson had none. But the impact that Will Anderson had on that Texans defense was impressive for a rookie. So that's why
I got a feeling Houston's going to take a clean sweep in the offense and defense rookie of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, I was thinking Will Anderson for the defensive rookie of the year, and we already know for offensive rookie of the year, nobody is going to become close to CJ Stroud.
The only
other player
you could.
The only other player I think might come close would be Addison from Minnesota and Pika from Los Angeles. But yeah, CJ Stroud is going to get that hands down.
Yeah, it was down to CJ, Puka, Nakua, like you said, Jordan Addison, Devon A-Chain, who had a good start to the season, but then going down with the injuries didn't help. There was good rookies this year. Nico Collins, again, rookie on the Texans. But it's easily CJ Stroud. Yeah. It's easily CJ Stroud. Easily.
Without a doubt. No questions asked.
He missed 2 games. So these numbers could be so much higher.
The only problem with Cheney is that he missed way too many games. He was out for almost a month.
Yeah, and I just look at what CJ Stroud did for the Texans. Without Stroud, they don't make they don't do what they did. In 15 games, he threw for 4,108 yards. 4,000 yards in his rookie season, with 23 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions. So his ball control, his ball security was really good. He didn't make a lot of bad choices.
No.
He had 100.8 passer rating in his rookie year, with a 57 QBR and he had 39 carries for 167 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he finished with 26 touchdowns total. Like, it kind of has to be C.J. Stroud for offensive rookie of the year.
I mean, the other ones make a good case for him, but yeah, you got to take a look at it this way. You take a Chaney off the Dolphins still would have been the Dolphins.
Mm.
They would still have the same record. Yeah, they might have not put up 70 points, but and then you got Puka.
Puka, I understand because, the records that he's setting for wide receivers. He, I believe, broke Jalen Waddle's record for receiving yards or receptions in the season for rookie.
Yeah.
But, again, everything that C.J. Stroud's on night, he set multiple records for rookie QBs, I believe. So, and again, just the impact that he had on winning.
I mean, there's also a couple other plays we could throw in the conversation.
Sam
Laporta from
Laporta,
Detroit.
Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of plays we could throw in that conversation for offensive rookie of the year. But from what we witnessed also, you take away C.J. Stroud from the Houston Texans, and the Texans aren't even a 500 team, let alone 10-7.
Mm.
So for me and Jeff, I know you're probably going to feel the same way. We're going to look at that and take that into consideration as the reason why we're saying he should win the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Because you take him off that team, the Houston Texans are basically, they're just garbage. Whereas the other players, you could take them off the team and the team will still be the same.
Maybe not the Rams, especially with them being without Cooper Kupp for when they were at the beginning of the season. But yeah, like all those other players. I mean, other than Addison too, Gibbs, Laporta. I mean, I wouldn't say teams would be the same, but like
Gibbs and Laporta just added more dynamic to the Lions' offense.
Mm-hmm.
Addison basically, I mean,
stepped in.
If Jefferson hadn't gone down, he wouldn't have seen the majority of the number of CBs he has now.
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson getting hurt was, a blessing for him. And like you said, Puka, with Cooper Kupp being injured at the beginning of the season, we seen what happened when Kupp came back. Puka's numbers kind of started dropping. So that's why we're, saying that's why we're giving it to C.J. Stroud.
The impact that he had on winning was a lot more than all the other players, in my opinion.
Same. All right, the second and last award, Coach of the Year.
I had it between two. Either the Browns head coach or the Texans head coach, D'Amico Ryan. I went with the Browns head coach as much as
I actually had it.
You good? You're good.
I had it between D'Amico Ryan, Dan Campbell, and who did I have as the third one? I know he was a distant third, so he probably wouldn't have mattered. But my top two was either D'Amico Ryan or Dan Campbell. It's tough to say. Yes, I mean, yes. Campbell for the Lions will be a good choice. But overall, I got to give it to D'Amico Ryan because he took a trash Texan team that finished the season. I think what was it last year, 3-15 or 3-14
Mm-hmm.
to 10-7. So I mean, he turned it around. So I would have to say, I mean, personally, D'Amico Ryan. Dan Campbell is a very close second. It will be why with a couple of votes that will be make a difference. When I say couple, I mean like 2 or 3 votes. Is what I would say D'Amico Ryan will win it by.
And when I picked grounded coach Kevin Stefanski, finished second in the AFC North. They made it to the playoffs. You know, was what they dealt with this season with Watson and how bad he was, and then whatever the backup's name was, how bad he was, and then having Joe Flacco come in and be
Basically,
absolutely
save their season.
Yeah. And I want to switch it up. You know, I gave 2 to the Texans already, so I was like, all right, I'll give it to Stefanski, but I didn't even think of Dan Campbell somehow. So if I had to do top 3, I'd put Stefanski, Ryans, and then Campbell. But it's really, really close. It's not like a landslide of anything. And
Yeah.
it was a very close call to put Stefanski.
Okay, and now for our favorite, the MVP.
You got it. I got it.
So my top 3 for MVP is Lamar Jackson, this is hard. I still got to throw CJ Stroud in there, even though he's a rookie. I know he's not going to win, but he deserves to be in the conversation. And my third one, as much as I can't stand him, I would have to say the third one would probably, no, let me rephrase that. I got actually a new third one. I would say probably Todd Purdy.
Okay.
And who I will pick for MVP would be, I mean, it has to be hands down Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the things, I mean, the fact that he proves to everybody that he's not just a running quarterback. And some of the throws he's made this season, you got to look at it and say, wow, how did he even get that ball to that receiver? Now, I was going to add Mahomes, but his receivers is what cost him a chance at being a possible MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Because they couldn't hold on to the ball to save their lives.
Yeah, I had to do a top 3. I do like your top 3. Lamar won it, obviously. I mean, that's what I picked. But Lamar, I'm going to throw Josh Allen. Again, he was very turnover prone, and the Bills did not look good, but he had a lot of touchdowns on the season. A lot.
Okay.
I'm just throwing some different names out there that could have been. You know, CMC definitely could have been in consideration, but it normally goes to quarterback.
Usually, the quarterback, the MVP is usually a quarterback reward, which it's kind of unfair because the ball's in their hands every single play.
Mm.
But I mean, we're actually going to add other positions. Like, yeah, CMC, Tyreek Hill could have been a possible candidate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just the fact that they always give the award to. I don't even remember the last time a non-quarterback won an MVP.
Has it been ever? Has it ever happened?
I know it has happened.
Probably like Alvin Johnson or something. I don't know. But I'm just looking at USA Today. Dak Prescott is number 2 in the running, I guess.
Why does that not surprise me?
He's another one. Brock Purdy, like you said, he's in the running. Josh Allen's 5. Josh Allen's 4, and CMC is 5. So, but I mean, it's clearly Lamar Jackson. Again, as you said, he's not just a running quarterback. He was passing the ball with extreme accuracy, precision.
Actually, Brian, you are correct. The last non-quarterback to win it was Adrian Peterson, 2012.
Wow.
I just looked it up. 12 years ago.
Adrian Peterson, one of the GOATs of the running back position.
So, yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see a non-quarterback win it this year, but we all know it's not going to happen.
But Lamar had 3,678 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 7 receptions with a 102.7 passer rating and a 65.2 QBR. Like, just that in itself is MVP season, but then adding on to it, he had 148 carries for 821 yards, 5 touchdowns, and obviously the number 1 seed in the AFC. So he had another 4,500 yard season total in yards. He had 29 touchdowns. And he impacted winning in many ways. Again, passing, rushing. He impressed me with his passing this year. That's for sure.
Yes.
And especially a lot of the season being without Mark Andrews, who was out for a while. Like, he went down. I don't know what week, but he's been without him for a while, and he's still looking really good.
I believe it was week, I want to say either 8 or 9 is when he went down.
Halfway in the season, and he's looked, and it's not seemed to hurt him at all, really.
And that's the fact that Zay Flowers stepped up and became a number 1 receiver for him.
OBJ actually did something. Isaiah Likely, their backup tight end, looked really good. And their running backs did fantastic running the ball as well. So we agreed on actually a lot of the awards.
Pretty much.
I mean, a lot of them are obvious. A lot of them are very obvious.
Yeah.
Lamar, CJ Stroud, CMC, Will Anderson, the coach of the year. It's just kind of an opinion. And then the defensive player of the year. I don't think that there's really any question that it should be TJ Watt.
So, all right, we got one topic left because we're going to skip the playoff predictions for the simple fact is we got to wait for this Bills-Dolphins game, which Josh Allen just threw an interception in the end zone. Surprise, surprise.
Oh, thank God that the Titans beat the Jags, because I would be shitting myself right now.
So we're gonna do our last, which is our pick 'em recap, which is our last of the season. Because pick 'em doesn't have a playoff schedule. I don't think they do playoffs.
I don't think so. Very sad. Last pick 'em of the season. All right. Game number 1, Ravens, Steelers. Me and you picked my Pittsburgh Steelers. We got it right. Oh, doggone went with the Ravens, and he got it wrong.
Yeah, I just had a feeling because the Ravens already clinched the division in number 1 spot that they wasn't going to start everybody.
Yeah, me too. So I was like, please win, Steelers. Like, if there's any week that we need to win this week, please.
Exactly.
We all picked the Texans here. We got that one right. And these next two, we all picked the Browns and the Jags, and we got that wrong. So I'm fine with getting that Jags and Titans one wrong. I'm fine with that.
So am I.
And these next 4, we all picked the Jets, Lions, Saints, and Bucks, and we all got that right. You picked your Giants, and you got it right. Me and Owen picked the Eagles, and we got it wrong. And I was laughing at you last week, and I'm eating it now. Me and you picked the Chiefs. Owen picked the Chargers.
What was he thinking?
Probably that the Chiefs were going to rest everyone like they did.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
We all picked the Niners. We got that one wrong.
Yeah, that one hurt.
He picked the Packers. Me and you picked the Bears. We got that wrong.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking.
Every time we picked the Bears, they let us down. And in these next 3, the Raiders, Seahawks, and Cowgirls, we all picked the same. We all got them right. And I picked the Dolphins in this game.
And I picked the Bills.
But
and both teams already started off with throwing interceptions.
To end this season, I will either be 170 and 102, or I'll be 169 and 103. You will finish either 158 and 98 or 157 and 99. Owen will finish what?
That's only because I missed week 1.
Yeah, I know. If you'd missed week 1, whew, yeah, you'd right up there. Owen will either finish 167 and 105 or 168 and 104. So we will see. That's the pick'em for the 2023, 2024 NFL season.
Yep. Yes, we love all our fans. So we're coming to that time of whereas unfortunately we have to wrap things up. Some of us got to get to work tonight.
Yeah, and it snowed here in Pennsylvania, so I get to walk in the snow.
It was snowing here Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. I was outside shoveling 3 times today.
Whew.
Well, I mean, 1 last night, 1 in the morning, so my mom didn't slip on anything outside, and then 1 once it stopped. So, but thank God I went out last night, because if I didn't, it would have been so bad this morning. It would have been awful this morning.
Yeah. All right, folks. We want to thank everybody for once again joining in, or tuning in and watching us, as well as joining in the comment section. You know, we always love comments from our fans. We love the interaction. It just makes the show a lot better, more entertaining. And I believe this is one of the first shows that we have not mentioned Jameis Winston.
Yeah, there was no comment. There was nothing to say Jameis Winston about, and now he just ruined
I
it.
know. It threw me off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we didn't need to say anything about him. He was unmentioned.
Exactly. And as you can see, we have the new 2024 logo up top that I just added to our logo. So once again, for Dope Ass Jeff, Big Time Tony, we want to say thank you everybody for joining in. Have a great week. Great, start your New Year's off great for you guys. See you next week.
Bye, guys. Have a good week.